Hey Facebook, how's everybody doing this Sunday evening? I hope you guys are doing okay. I have my sister and sister friends here. We're going to have a discussion. Before we get into our topic, I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. I do want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Miranda, and I have a YouTube channel called Miranda Heart to Heart. That is Miranda Heart, the number 2 and heart. Check me out there. So the videos that we post, you'll be able to see those there. And then TJ, this is my friend TJ. TJ, if you can talk about your Facebook groups real quick. And
I got a Facebook group. It's called Love You More. It's a motivational type group for women. We have all kinds of subjects that we broach. And I also take inbox. I am not a therapist. Let me put that out there now. I am a nurse by trade and a business. I'm in business management, but I offer my opinion to women when they inbox me. So,
and that is what prompted this video, is because she gets a lot of women that inbox her asking for advice when it comes to relationships, their love life or whatnot. So that's what prompted this. So Brigida, this is Brigida right here.
Hi, I'm Brigida.
Dear.
Hi, my name is Dear, and I don't have a page or anything else to send you to, but I'm excited to be here on this chat because it's really important. I think it's really good for everybody to engage one another. You know, women from all walks of life are going through similar battles, no matter what state or race you are. So
exactly,
it's a good thing to have this out there.
It sure is. Leah.
And I'm Leah.
Alika.
Hi, I'm Alika. I am Miranda's sister.
Hey, don't we look alike?
Yeah, we do. She got her good looks for me, of course.
Look at this. I'm the younger sister.
But yes, that's true. But listen, just like Dear said, I feel like women, we all come from different age groups, walks, trades, religions. But the one thing that we definitely have to do is we, as a women group, should stick together more and lift each other up more. And if that means that you have to get together with your friends sometimes to discuss your relationship woes or whatnot,
or just life
in general.
that's right.
It's
That's
okay
right.
because oftentimes we can't find our own advice unless we find our truth. With that being said, we find our truth from our friends because they share our truths with us, whether we like it or not.
Right.
Our friends, if they're your
good friends,
That's right. That's
they
right.
are here to stand by you 110%.
right.
So let's get this part.
And one thing I would say, Melissa mentioned to me before, our eyes are made to look out, not in.
Right.
So it's easy to help someone else in their situation because you can see their situation.
Right.
But when you're trying to look at your own situation and you got emotions involved too, on top of it, it just changes the whole dynamics of everything.
It does. It
Becomes
does. I have
difficult.
to agree with that.
I just want to put this out here. This is just a talk. This is just our opinion.
Right.
We're
We're
not
not licensed therapists.
Yes, and we're not here to judge anybody.
No.
No
so if you
judgment
guys
zone.
have any negative comments or anything like that, keep those to yourself.
Hey, no
Yeah.
negativity. Keep it positive.
Yes.
We want to make
yes.
sure that we walk in agreement with what God asked of us to be decent and in order.
Hey,
Yeah.
So we will keep this
Yes.
conversation
positive.
decent and in order.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it will be in order. Now there will be some moments now
Where, hey, I'm not
we
so
will be
decent.
absolutely
Out of
wrong about
character.
it.
We gonna be wrong. We gonna keep it real. We gonna keep it real.
Right.
We gonna keep it real. Okay, so
Right.
let's TJ. Let's go
Right.
ahead and get started with
Okay,
what we're gonna talk about.
So the topic of discussion tonight, I received an inbox yesterday from a woman that wanted my advice on her relationship with her boyfriend. She lives with her boyfriend. They're not married. She asked me if I thought she should leave her relationship with her boyfriend. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am not a therapist, and I'm not about to tell no woman to leave their relationship.
Right.
That is your decision and your decision only. I can only tell you from what you've shared with me, what I see, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna give you. And from there, you have to take it and make it yours. You make
Right.
it whatever you want to make it.
Right.
Anyway, she asked me. The story that she told me was that she's in this relationship with this man. They've been in a relationship for greater than 10 years. There's no excitement in the relationship anymore. They are almost like roommates. It's become mundane. Their sex life is not a sex life anymore. She feels like he doesn't pay enough attention to her. But the one thing that she did say to me is that she was friends with his friends in the past, that he's had in the past, and that they told her how much of a man whore he was. So now she's like, okay, so he's not doing anything with me. Who's he doing it with?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So that's where we're gonna start this discussion. Okay.
So is he cheating? It sounds like the relationship, they've lost the spice. It's a little
Right.
boring.
Right.
So, from a woman's standpoint, like, okay, so he was, before.
He was a male gigolo. Let's just say
Yeah,
it.
male gigolo.
Right.
Before. People can change.
Right. True.
Right?
True. Very true.
When you get bored in the bedroom, though, you might lose interest. He could either be cheating or he's just lost interest because they need to add more spice
Because
to
it's
it.
become
So,
more-
what are
it's
some
become-
things that we can do to add to?
My opinion, first of all, you said that they're not married.
Right.
They've been together for.
They've been together for 10 years.
Okay, first of all, they shouldn't be shacking up anyway.
Okay, but it happens. So,
it does happen.
since it
does
happens, what
happen.
can they do to bring the spice back, though?
That's
But let's digress just a little bit, because what you said is biblical.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So you done took us all the way there. Now, we'll go all the way there. Now, we can go in deep and talk about it, right?
Yes.
Because I think there's an element there that we do have to address, because the Bible says, if we're gonna go off of what Bible says,
Right.
then we are not supposed to be cohabitating like that, correct?
That's true.
So if we're not supposed to be doing that, then about 100% of our population is in the wrong.
In the wrong.
We're only gonna start.
Look, about
And
95%.
when we can't figure out why we can't get our relationships right, it's because we didn't get it together with God.
That's there.
That's right there. We need to have God in the front.
Didn't get it
There
together
it
with
is.
Him
There
first.
it is.
Yes.
There it is.
We need to have God in the front and center. of it.
Absolutely.
We're wondering why we can't get the guys to commit, why we're still not married. Why? Because we're settling.
We're settling.
We're settling, and we're settling for less. We're not holding
Them two.
these men to a standard.
This is
There,
true.
there is a standard there, and we're not holding up the standard. We need to bring
A higher-
raise
I
up
don't
that
know.
standard.
I don't
Now
know
what I
that
will
if-
say,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Now what I will say though, when we go biblical, and we're talking about that, but you have to also look at it. Everyone's not living under the word. No,
Mhm.
everyone is
Yeah.
not in the church, so
Mhm.
we can take it there with that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you with that, but then we have to look at it as a whole. The population in general, and just life and what it is. And a lot of people don't know anything about what it says in the Bible. What
That's
we should
true.
do, what we
This
shouldn't
is
do.
true.
Or they may not believe that.
They're
This is
going
true.
off of their emotions and their feelings and what's going on, and they don't understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the reason why there's a disconnect somewhere.
Mhm.
But if we take the Bible out of it, and not trying to take it out of it because I
Yeah.
believe in my Lord and Savior,
Mhm.
but when we take it and we look at the people as a whole, people are lost.
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
they are feeding off of what they know. They try to get information from their girlfriends who are probably lost as well.
Mhm.
They don't know. And then
Exactly.
they give them the wrong information.
Exactly.
Everybody don't want to believe in God.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That is
So
true.
then what do? So we can talk about it biblically, or we can talk about it as the non-believers. So, I don't know where she stands in
Right.
her life,
Right.
so for us to even put it on that platform for her,
So we need to keep it at the simplest element.
But you know what? I think even whether you're a believer or non-believer, it does kind of make a difference if two people come together on the same accord.
Mhm.
Whether you have religion or spirituality in it or not. And that's probably part of the problem too from the beginning. When people
But then doesn't that just relate back to communication though in a relationship though?
Mhm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But
So Go ahead.
But we've not been taught the proper way
To
to
communicate.
communicate
Hello.
from childhood
And this is true.
on
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And so when you go to college or
Mhm.
things like that, and
Mhm.
perhaps like we did for our business degrees or whatever, even in your nursing degree,
Right.
they teach you the art in communication.
Right.
They break communication down on so many levels on how you should do it and how it should be conducted, and versus not being able to do
Because
it.
as parents
Mhm.
with our kids, we teach our kids basically to hide their emotion. When we whoop our kids and then tell them to be quiet, don't cry.
Right.
Mhm.
We are not teaching them how to express themselves.
Right.
How do you
True.
spank a child and hurt them and then turn around and tell them to be quiet?
I mean, okay.
Not I'm not judging, but I'm just saying.
I'm
We're
We're
just
saying this is
discussion.
just
This is a discussion.
I did raise 2 sons.
Right.
And yeah, they did get spankings when they were in the wrong.
Yes.
However,
Me too.
the encouragement
Right.
to hush up was not, don't tell me how you feel, because what I'm doing in this process is telling you what you did wrong. So you have to understand this is the reason why you got the spanking.
Right.
So I'm talking to you on why you got the spanking.
Mhm.
Now,
Right.
if you're not going to talk to me and tell me how you understand, then shut up.
But then we tell the kids though, stop crying.
No, I don't. I tell them stop crying. I tell
There's
them,
some
shut
parents
up.
that do though.
Me?
There's parents that do.
No, this
So
is
we-
completely off the
Wait, way off subject.
But I'm just saying.
Bring some tears real quick.
But I'm just saying, when we talk about communication, when we talk about communication, though, communication is center. That's the core of a healthy relationship. And a lot of
Yes.
people lack that because they
Yes.
lack the skills of being able to effectively communicate their needs.
In any area of your life, you have to have communication.
Absolutely.
Whether it be on your job, one of the 1st
Mhm.
things I was taught as a team leader is how do you communicate?
Right.
You got to have your radio. At that time, I think we might have had pagers, cell
Mhm.
phones. There were
Right.
several ways to
Mhm.
communicate. Your walkie-talkie. There's different lines of communication.
Mhm.
So whether it's written, whether
Mhm.
it's verbal,
Mhm.
you have to communicate. So, but as a child, myself growing up, I was always told a still tongue makes a wise head.
Mhm.
But now, becoming more mature and becoming an adult, I know when to speak and not to speak.
When to step back.
When to step back,
Mhm.
when to be quiet, when
Right.
to hold your tongue, when
Mhm.
to say something, when to walk away.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
make you less of a person when you do that.
But then let's take what you just said and let's apply that to that type of relationship between a man and a woman.
Mhm.
Women, to me, we are conditioned as women that emotionally we shouldn't show too much emotion. And that's just wrong. When you're in a relationship with a man, that should be your soft spot. That should be your tender
It should be
spot.
your go-to.
Exactly.
Right.
Where if you needed to cry for
Yes.
absolutely no
Yes.
reason,
Absolutely.
he gotta be right there. Like, I don't care what you're crying about. I gotta lay in this bed and spoon you right now.
Okay.
And let
we
you
go.
cry.
That's what we
That's
gonna
what
do.
Yes.
That's what we're gonna do right now.
Right now.
So there should be a boundary there
Right.
between communication. And what I find is that when a relationship has undergone some type of damage,
Right.
right? Whether it's an emotional damage, and it could be cheating, it could be lying, it could be
Mhm.
anything.
Mhm.
But when a relationship has gone through some type of emotional trauma,
Mhm.
then women we block. We set up a boundary.
Mhm.
We automatically put it up
Yes.
because I know what you're capable of now.
Right.
Because that hurt me.
That hurts.
But if we're not talking about the small hurts,
Mhm.
when it happens,
Mhm.
then the
Right.
large hurts,
It
how
keeps
are they supposed to know
That's it.
anything?
We take it
And
right
it
back
continues
what
to
we
build.
said.
Communication.
Mhm.
It'll keep happening.
right.
It'll keep damaging the
Right.
relationship and damaging the relationship.
I think sometimes that whether male or female, oftentimes we get so complacent in our relationships and we don't speak up in our relationships because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings.
But if that's your man,
But that's it. That's
Right.
if that's your man. But see, that comes back to where again, we're not communicating enough.
Mhm.
We're afraid to communicate with one another because of the way society depicts it.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? A man, like, for instance, a African American woman and a African American man can't just simply sit there and have a disagreement without someone else looking at them like, oh my God, what's getting ready to happen?
Oh yes.
Like why? I mean, like we can agree to disagree or even have a disagreement without even getting that emotionally.
Violent or
Charged.
physical
Right.
or anything like that.
I think, we become afraid. A lot of it becomes fear. We become afraid to make ourselves vulnerable. I'm not going to be
Vulnerability.
hurt
Yes.
Again.
again. So
Again.
you have to learn how to forgive,
Mhm.
one, and have to learn how to open up your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Two, keep on, whether it's opening up for hurt again or whatever, but you have to begin to make yourself vulnerable, but you have to be
I just
smart
feel
in a way
About it at
Yeah.
the same
Say,
time.
like,
you
yes,
gotta take the
yes.
situation if one
Yes.
arises as
Right.
it comes, but you have to give
me,
yourself.
that's where discernment comes in.
You'll get the discernment.
Yeah,
And
you have to discern.
so.
And
I
when you
just
feel like you don't have it, pray for it.
Yep.
I used to struggle
Yes.
with it, but I prayed for it, and I ain't struggling with it no more. Hey,
You say discernment, but you know what? We all got some discernment in us.
and
But,
intuition.
and intuition.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we decide we're gonna turn the other cheek.
Mhm.
You saw that sign. You heard God. You heard God whispering in your ear. You saw that sign that He gave you.
Mhm.
You chose not to obey it. You chose not to listen to it.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's true too.
So my question is for this young lady, the communication, if we're saying that communication is the first step,
Mhm.
how do we know that once she does take that step to communicate, that he will be open to be
Receive it.
reciprocal
Mhm.
to communicate back?
That determines where they're at in a relationship.
I think it.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with knowing what type of communicator your man is
Mhm.
or your woman is, because
Mhm.
everybody's not verbal.
Mhm.
Some people are, written. Some people are physical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all different types of communication. And if you're giving him something verbally and he's not receptive that way, then you can pretty much count on it not going the way you want it to.
I wonder how you
Actions
can
are always good too.
add.
So it just really, depends on
Chris
that
is on. He
as
has a
well.
comment.
And then
Okay.
another
Yeah.
thing we brought up earlier, as far as is she doing what's necessary, in the bedroom to keep it spicy? From what I've dealt with, dealing with different types of men, different races, sometimes it just depends on, if he's where he wants to be as a man. Sometimes it depends on if he's actually a man or if he's still a boy.
True.
Because age doesn't make him, more mature. It just makes him an older age. So him having a penis don't make him a man. It just makes him a male. Because when you are applying for stuff, it says male or female. It don't say nothing else. So therefore, he's a male based on the way he was born.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's a man, sweetheart.
Right.
I agree.
He's more than likely just a boy if he's struggling in certain areas. So just keep that in mind too.
I think you are correct. But I also think that, hold on, I'm sorry. I probably should have did this anyway. I'm adding this to my Facebook as a watch party. So if you guys want to add it to y'all Facebook as a watch party, you can.
Watch party.
How
do we do that?
How do we add it as a watch party?
How do we do that? Just tell us one time.
You know what? This is really funny.
You guys care to share how to do that?
Okay, anybody
So
want to read Chris's comment?
go ahead and read Chris.
Comment.
Chris, we're gonna try to get you to join the conversation. We just gotta figure it out.
This, do you want me to read what Chris said, or
Go ahead.
okay? Chris read exactly. Most men cannot communicate. communication, because everyone wants to come out being a winner rather than trying to achieve a win-win situation in which no one feels less of a person. So
Right.
Basically, they can't compromise. There's no in between there.
I mean, his name's Chris, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, that's very true. It seems like each generation becomes more and more detached from togetherness.
Right.
And everybody's struggling trying to be, like you said, in the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really difficult for a woman to be open like she's built to be, because obviously, the man is supposed to be the head and we're supposed to be the neck of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
However, everybody's trying so hard to get ahead
Mm-hmm.
that we struggle with that power.
Yes.
True.
And it's even harder in different races
Mhm.
because we were built and raised differently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more along the lines of, I think, people just trying to come together as one mind. Like, it's a mindset you guys have to make up on your own
Mm-hmm.
to do it and walk together on. So
And Tia, what would you say when a woman is in a higher position than her man? And
What do
when
you mean
that
by
creates
that? What do you mean by a higher position?
More
Make-
money.
makes more money.
So she's the breadwinner.
She's
Yes.
the breadwinner.
Okay. Okay.
And that creates
Okay,
problems.
that's interesting. 'Cause that can create problems.
It creates problems.
Okay.
well, I
Let's
feel
talk
like,
about it.
okay, so let's talk about let's talk about breadwinning.
Period.
All right.
Period.
Just because I make more than you doesn't mean you're not winning the bread.
That's right.
Hey!
If you are also contributing to this loaf, then we both breadwinners.
That's
Oh!
I mean, literally speaking, you have a loaf of bread. You have the head, the first beginning of the bread loaf, and you have the butts at the end, okay? So this is a known fact. Either way, either one can make a sandwich. It don't have to be perfect.
Right.
But if you're contributing, then you count.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times people always get it mixed up because everybody's trying to be, more dominant. Or sometimes men just feel like they're not significant because the amount is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to make a point and state that it's all still a loaf.
So
Right.
Frank, so wait a minute. I just had a comment. Frank, you just said then the man needs a ladder. I don't understand what that means. Because we don't quite get that. What do you mean by a ladder, Frank?
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Please break the ladder down.
Break the ladder down to us, please.
Waiting. You're gonna have to type just a little bit faster, please. So I want to get back to we're waiting on him to break that ladder back down. I want to get back to this lady's question, because it sounds like she's got some things on her mind, and
Right,
she sounds
true.
like she's seeking to either she don't know whether to stay or whether to go or what it is that she needs to do. First of all, like you said, first thing is always communication.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Communication that's universal. It should be. And we have to learn that everybody is different. Everybody does not communicate the same way that we communicate. And so we have to also learn that our expectation of somebody have to be realistic, because what I want you to be, you may not be who that person is. And we have to, we as young ladies, we fairy tale in our mind, oh, I want my man like this, or I want my man like that. You know what I mean? But we have to be real with ourselves.
Mhm.
And sometimes you might have to coach that person. Sometimes you may have to try maybe a couple of times. I'm not saying put yourself out there like for many a years and it keeps going and going and nothing changes. But sometimes you have to look at a person's background. Where do they come from?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not communicating with me? It's okay. This is a safe place. This is how we're going to change things. How are you feeling? Ask those kind of questions. But first of all, I think we probably have to start with ourselves.
Hey,
we have to sometimes internalize us first.
Yes,
this is
before
true.
I try to
Yes.
tell you how to communicate to me, because maybe I'm not communicating to you effectively.
Hey,
maybe I'm
there
not
you go.
saying it to you the right way.
Right.
Because you
and I think that I am.
Right.
Right, but
Right.
but then you just said something really valid, okay? Because some of us don't even know how to communicate with ourselves.
Exactly.
Because some of us don't love ourselves enough to understand
Exactly.
what true
We don't
communication
truly
with self
understand
is.
ourselves.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
When you don't like something in a relationship,
Right.
a lot of women, what they do is we go on and push it up under the rug.
Right.
We don't address it when we don't like it. You understand what I'm
And
saying?
it's something. One of my friends said something to me. And, a friend of mine named Rachel. She said, "You don't think you deserve better."
That's
Absolutely.
self-love.
Yes,
It's self-love.
You
That's
don't
what it
think
comes
that
down
you
to.
deserve it.
And what I learned also is that we'll take what we know that we're not doing and put that all on somebody else as
Oh yeah.
why you're not doing this and you're not talking.
Yes.
You're not even doing it yourself. You're
Right.
not even taking your
Right.
own.
Right.
So,
Responsibility for
I'm
your
just saying,
accountability.
yeah, you know, step back. Maybe she has to step back and look at herself. What is it? What am I doing?
Right.
Have
What
I
are
done
my needs?
anything? You know, where did it happen? Where did
Right.
it go wrong?
Right.
You know, try to, you know, and then figure out who are you? You know,
Absolutely.
who am I? And do
Yes.
I really need to put up with this? Do I really need to go through this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Have I tried to communicate several times and
Right.
it hasn't happened?
Right.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me get my bags and move on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because that's
And
where
it
I'm
could
at
be
right
that.
there.
It could be that. It could be that she's not had
Maybe
some
a little-
good self-talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She's not had that moment where she says, you know what, I'm gonna have to love myself more in
Mhm.
this moment because this is not serving my soul.
Exactly.
This doesn't serve
Exactly.
my heart. This
And-
doesn't make me happy. And
Right.
if it's not making you happy, then why do you stay in something that creates so much harm
Mhm.
and so much? Because what it comes down to is you end up resenting that person.
Mhm.
You end up disliking that person,
Mhm.
and life is too short to go through all of that.
Right. It is.
You know?
And so you gotta find that happy point too, or that point where is the relationship at a point where it needs to be ended, or do you just need to work on the relationship? When you first meet a person and you're getting to know that person, you really like that person, you're all head over heels. But when you done spent 10 years, 15 years with them, if it's not bad qualities, but you're just maybe getting bored because you need to add that spice back in, then you don't cut the relationship off. You just got to go back to the drawing board.
Okay, but then how do you add that spice?
how do you
know,
add
because I
that
can tell
spice?
you how I told her to add
Like
the
we
spice.
said,
Okay? I can
we
tell
talked
you
about
now.
the communication.
Okay.
The other thing I want to say
That's
is, the 5 love languages. How do we make our partner feel appreciated and loved?
Right, true.
And you got to know your partner's love language.
True.
And so the 5 love languages are 1, receiving gifts, 2, quality time, 3, words of affirmation, 4, acts of service or physical touch.
Well, I just recently took this, and I know what my love language
Mhm.
is.
TJ, what's your love language?
Quality time,
Quality
words
time.
of affirmation. That's my love language.
And TJ, talk about how you said it changes.
Well, it does change as you grow older and
Uh-huh.
you mature.
Right.
Your likes and your dislikes change.
It changes.
Like when I was 21,
right.
it no longer serves me at 43.
To have gifts, right?
So exactly.
Right.
So 21, it was all about gifts. It was
Right.
about
Mhm.
buying me things
Mhm.
and the superficial things, roses and stuff like that. It ain't. You keep your roses.
You can keep
Put
them.
them on the casket. Okay?
That's
Keep them on that. Keep those.
casket.
It's nice to have them, but that no longer serves my soul. You see what I'm saying? What serves my soul is that you come home, honey, let's go do something together. Let's just spend time together.
Let's get out the house.
Exactly. Let's
Okay.
get out the house. And even if we don't get out the house, but me coming home to dinner, popcorn, movie,
Off of social media.
off of social, no
Spending time
phones,
with each
music.
other.
I mean, come on, dancing in the middle of the living
Okay,
room.
moving out the way.
on,
Put
that
some
means
music on.
quality time, right?
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to for
Right.
me. It's quality time. And words of affirmation.
Mhm.
Let me just clear something up. I know who I am.
Mhm.
Okay, you know who you are as a
Mhm.
woman. You
Mhm.
know, beauty is all encompassing. It's on the outside and it's on the inside.
Mhm.
But words of affirmation to me is you've done a fantastic job with our
Mhm.
family.
Yes.
You've done a fantastic job this week, given the
Yes.
fact that you've had X, Y, and Z going
To
on
do.
in your personal
Yes.
life. I mean, your
Yes.
professional life. Honey, you are holding it down
Right.
at home. That's words of affirmation for me.
Right.
You're so beautiful. You're so pretty. I know that.
I know that.
My
I
daddy is pretty. My mama is pretty. I know that.
Look, Alika, I'm not
Okay.
conceited. I'm
And-
convinced.
and-
Hey! Hold on. This is over here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
But you made a good point. You made a
Right.
good point.
So, I mean, it changes. Right.
And then I know for me, like they talked about in the 5 love languages, 75% of the population give and receive love in the same language. But I'm in that 25% where my love language is acts of service. So it goes along with my nursing. But for me to receive love is through the quality time and physical touch. So you could tell me you love me, but if you're not giving me your quality time, if you're not being affectionate with me,
Exactly.
then I'm not feeling loved by you.
Give me words of affirmation.
Mhm.
You have to come back and affirm those words.
Right,
That's
right.
You have to give me some action
Right.
with those words.
With it,
Because
yes.
your actions, you can be speaking a whole
Right,
lot, but your
right.
actions can be
Y'all
shown
know
in
how I
something
feel.
different.
Something different.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is what we see in relationships nowadays. Is you got your good mouth game, but your actions
Don't follow.
don't follow what you
Mhm.
say. So
Mhm.
and that's sad. But then you see that on both sides though. Like
Yes.
let's just be fair about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know, you see men and women equally doing the same thing. And I think that yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that to myself.
Wait. Okay, we can talk about the 5 love languages all day to try to answer this poor lady's question and how to bring it back.
That's
to
just
the
one
bedroom.
of it.
But let's just keep it real. T,
What's
how
up?
she gonna bring it back to that bedroom?
Oh,
What you
see.
say?
Yeah, what did you say?
I mean, if we keeping it real, let's keep it real.
Okay.
Let's
What you
take
telling
it.
TJ?
Give her some advice, T.
Well, dang, me give her this
Wow, this is for all of you
Well, it's for
women.
all of us.
It's
It's
involved.
And I'm only saying you because we discussed it
Right.
already.
So what I told her, and see, she wasn't the only woman that's inboxed. I had a married woman that also inboxed me about the same thing, that they've been in a relationship, their relationships become mundane, and they're not having relations with each other anymore. It just feels like they're roommates. And so, I mean, it was the same thing. And I told her, I said, first thing that you don't do is step outside of your covenant, because you took a covenant before God.
Mhm.
And you took
right.
a covenant before your family that you were going to honor, respect, and love this man for the rest of your
That's
life.
right.
So now that the honeymoon is over, so
Right.
to speak,
Yes.
and now that it's all fizzed down, now we're back to normal life. Now the work begins, right?
Mhm.
So with that, what I mean by work is that marriage is a job. It's a 24-hour, 7-day a week job, because I don't know what this man is feeling,
Right.
and this man don't know what I'm feeling, and I have to be an open communicator with this individual that I'm laying next to every single night, because he can't read my mind. So I'm gonna have to tell him what I'm feeling, right?
Mhm.
And so if I'm not feeling like I'm getting the attention, then I'm gonna have to speak up and tell him,
Mhm.
right? And that's the first thing that I told her. I said, okay, so have you talked yet? Have you told him that, I don't feel like you're paying attention to me. I don't feel like I'm loved by you. I don't feel like you consider me when I'm here. I feel like everything external outside of this home is what you pay attention to,
Mhm.
but I'm right here.
And then
Right.
what I would say to her is this is something that I've learned myself, is go back to doing the things that you used to do when you first met.
That's true.
Right.
Go back to the beginning.
Yeah, people
Make,
steer away.
make it new again.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to what you used to do when you first met.
Right. That's when
That's-
everybody is wearing that
yeah.
facade, when everybody got their face, their game
Right,
face on.
right.
Go
You know
back
how you
to
used to
where
put that
first
makeup
met.
on, makeup be on fleek.
At your best.
Y'all remember?
Now when you walk out, you only got your ponytail.
Right.
Sweatpants.
Bring that blue jeans on. Bring that stilettos.
There you go.
You ain't going in there with a full face makeup on.
Yes,
Sure.
when
Not the soap opera.
When you're married, your bedroom is undefined.
norm of what you normally
We
do.
do.
You know what I'm saying?
Do what you need
Like
to do to
some
make
50
your
Shades
partner
of
happy.
Grey. Go get you some silk
That's it.
ties. Get you a chair in the middle of the floor. Women, have your dance routine. Tie up some arms behind the chair.
Hey.
Legs to the chair. Make sure you get the waist to the chair. Wait a minute. It can't come out at all. Only visual. But then, wait a minute. You can even go put on a mask. Oh, he ain't even got to see you.
Role play.
Okay, we'll get into the senses first. Okay, get him all the way there. Leah, what would you say? Leah, what you say, Leah? What would you tell me? What you say, Leah? Say it.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, you can help me get that.
That's no G-rated version.
We just want the G-rated version.
There's no G-rated here,
They
Leah.
don't put me on the spot. I have a halo, so I don't know what they
I don't have a halo.
Mine is only a half halo.
Let's
You
say,
get it
I
right.
say whatever comes to my mind. So whether it's good or bad, it's coming out. So whatever my thoughts are, whether it's the past, whether it's the present or the future, wherever we've been in our relationship in the past, in the present, and in the future, that's what's going to come out. So when it comes out, just be ready. So let's just say that.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
for instance, if I'm sliding past you in the kitchen, I'm gonna slide past you in the kitchen, but in the midst of me sliding past, I might slide past and say something like, "I'm gonna let you spank me, Daddy." I'm just saying. This lady asked for relationship advice.
She did. She did.
Here we are.
She did genuinely
It's the
ask for
open floor,
relationship
it's wrong. We
advice.
got our wine. Some of y'all need a refill.
And maybe you say,
Hey, let's get some
you
refills.
can say,
I'm
hey,
down
could you
here.
get a cup of water?
I'll put out there for her. Seek professional marriage counseling.
Mhm.
That too.
And you know what? Even if they're not married, and that's something that if I were to embark upon a marital relationship again, being in a serious,
Okay.
committed relationship, I would want to go to counseling with my mate, even far before we're
Absolutely.
married,
Sometimes-
because we got to get on the same page.
Yeah,
And
if we
sometimes
can't
that's
do that,
needed.
I think
it
sometimes
might be
you
a
have
little
to do
stronger.
something before you get married.
That's
You
true.
know, you
Yeah.
have to do that before I
That's
say
true.
I do.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Okay.
And do we have anybody that's watching that want to make some comments, some suggestions that we can put on here too for the video? Some suggestions.
Get
When you
real
lose
glass.
the spice, what
I
can you
really suggest while we're waiting on comments and stuff. I really think that maybe she needs to, and I don't know everything that she's done or what she hasn't done, but maybe carve out a day and time and make a date night for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Say,
Yes.
hey, you know what? I know, what do you have going on this week? Oh, okay, well, on Friday, you don't have anything. You know what? Let's make this a date night. You know what I mean? And then go and try to get that spark.
Spend some
back.
time with
Spend
each
some
other.
time together.
Because even though you live together,
Right.
that's still not date night.
That's not date night.
What brought you together, those original dates, you have to continue that.
True.
And when you're on a date, I remember I took the girls out to dinner one night, and I don't know the status of this couple, or I just know they were on a date, but they were both on their phones and they were both on Facebook. That's not a date.
That's not.
So when you go on a date, you need to make some rules then. So it sounds like when you go on a date, so there's no telephone. Now, only thing, if we have an emergency phone call, if a family call, something like that, we answer our phones. Otherwise, we have to fully engage in conversation with each other. We have to communicate.
Right.
We have to talk. We have to spend time to get that time back and invest in us
Right.
if it's worth doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that would be a good suggestion too, not knowing what she's already done, but
It's a little bit difficult to give a sound opinion
when you don't know
when
everything.
it's so vague.
Right.
Mhm.
When you only have bits and
Because
pieces.
chances are she's might have already thought about all the things we've said, and she still may be at ground zero.
Yeah.
She may have exhausted some.
So
of it.
let's
Right.
talk about if she's already done those things. What's the next
Okay.
step?
What is the next steps?
When do you say enough is enough? When do you just stop? When do you quit? When do you start
think
loving
that-
yourself more in that situation?
You have to really evaluate your relationship. Do you have a person of quality? If you have a person that's not treating you right, then he should have been gone a long time ago.
But then what if?
But if he is a person of good quality and you just need to work on you, then you need to figure out, not you as a person, but your relationship, then you need to figure out what it takes to make it work.
Even if they're a person of quality, like
Okay.
you said,
Okay.
but they've become in this relationship, this intimate relationship, they've become more friends than what they are lovers. And
That's
they've
just-
just
they have to
lost
both
that,
be willing.
and they've grown apart from
Right.
each other.
They have to both be willing.
Exactly. And if one is willing, but the other is not willing, then what do? The one that's willing is going to have to make a decision,
And absolutely.
right? You have to make a decision. Is this worth
Are
me
you-
staying unsatisfied in this relationship? Right?
And you know
Right.
what? I'll say this with love. He might start off being unwilling, but he can change. Love is patience. So then you got to ask yourself, what do you define love is? And as a female, do you truly understand love? And when we talk about trauma, you know, I would say to any young person in their 20s, if you had trauma in your childhood, before you get involved with somebody, you need to work on you. But at our age, okay, we're more mature. We're sitting here, we're thinking about things. We're in relationships. Okay, so you're in the relationship, you've lost the spice, or, you know, what do you do from that point? You can't expect him to change overnight because we don't change overnight.
That's true.
It takes time. Love is patience. You have to, love is investing in yourself and your partner.
Mhm.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice for your partner.
This is true.
But it doesn't mean that you sacrifice yourself so much that you lose yourself. And you have to find that balance.
And I think that's
That's
where
the
she
hardest
was
part.
getting to, though, in the message to me, is that she did feel lost. She didn't know which way she
It's
wanted
hard.
to go in this, because she was dissatisfied.
Right.
She wasn't happy.
Mhm.
But then she knew on the other flip side of that, I love this person.
Yeah, love this
I've been
person.
with this person.
And
for 10
sometimes
years.
it is good to have an outside person. Because a lot of times we talk about communicating. And I know for me in my past, sometimes in relationships, we communicate so that we can be heard, but we don't communicate to listen.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
So,
point.
yeah, we're talking.
But I don't
And-
hear you. You need to hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
I think
Yeah.
that goes back to what Chris was saying. You know,
Yeah.
instead of making it a
I
way,
mean, I know we have some viewers who've been in relationships for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess my question to them is, you've been in this relationship for a while. If you're in with us and you've been in a relationship or a marriage for a while, how do you keep it spicy within your life? Chime in with us and let us know.
Let's put that on there.
So Chris is making a whole bunch of comments on So Chris, go to Miranda's feed so they can see the comments that you're making, because I'm the only one who can see you on my feed, and I'm gonna have to read them. Read it. I kind of want to pull you in on the conversation with us, but this is our first one, so we're kind of still amateurs, but we'll get better as we go.
But
All
what
right.
is he saying?
Well, Chris said, one of them, Miranda was talking. He said, "Tell it, Miranda," because of course Miranda was giving some spice. She was her insights.
Hey,
And then he talked about the perspective of a relationship. And he, Rome was not built in a day. So yes, love does take patience.
Patience.
Absolutely. And then he talked about how people define love in their own belief.
Yes.
which is very true. People do.
Yes.
And because I know what love means to me,
Yes.
doesn't necessarily mean that's the same thing that it means to somebody else,
Yes.
right? But when you're in a relationship, you got to find some common ground at
Yes.
least to figure out between
right.
the both of us what's love and how are we going to show love to one another.
And TJ, when you have a person that is a whole person and another person that may have some brokenness in them or come from dysfunction, what love is defined from that person to the other person can vary.
Mhm.
And how do you get to the same place?
Mhm.
You know what? That's hard. I'm just gonna be honest. It's hard.
It's hard. It takes
first
work,
of all-
though, like you said from
First
the
of all,
beginning.
it does take work. But first of all of us are broken.
Yes.
Okay, all of us are broken.
Yes.
We all have
Yes.
things in our lives, and just sharing just a little bit about me is learning to accept love from a man
Mhm.
when the first man in your life
Hey.
is your
Hey.
father.
Hey.
That's the man that is supposed to cradle you, love you.
Yes.
That's supposed to be your first date.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? He's supposed to be the first one to tell you how beautiful you are. He's supposed to be the first one to pick you up when you
Yes.
fall off that bike.
Yes.
You understand what
Yes.
I'm saying? And so
He's supposed to
becoming-
teach you how a man is
is
supposed to treat
love
you.
Absolutely.
So-
And so when some of us that come from homes, single parent homes,
Yes.
where it's a woman raising you and you don't have that man, your father in your life, taking on the role that he's supposed to take, and it's an absent figure there,
Mhm.
then we don't know
Mhm.
as women
Yes.
really how to accept and what's acceptable from a man as love. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because the first man who was in our life didn't love himself enough to love us. You got it. You see
And-
what I'm saying?
and-
So
and-
if we're gonna go that deep, then we gotta dig. We're gonna have to dive here. because
Okay,
that-
let's dive a little
okay,
bit. So
that's-
when that happens, what do we do?
how can you then at that point, and I'm gonna tell you, and I don't mean no harm, because I've got not only my biological father that's connected to me on Facebook, but I also have my stepfather that is connected to me on Facebook. But my stepfather stepped up, and he took on what I don't know, and I can't speak for my biological father, but he stepped up and he took on what he couldn't take on at that
Right.
moment. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Whether it had something to do with maturity, lifestyle, what have you. But he took it on, and I wasn't even his seed.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But this man taught me what love is. This
Right.
man taught me to value myself. He taught me to value, okay, you as a woman, number one, are you special anyway, because you part of creation.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? God created you to create.
To create life.
Exactly.
Hey.
To give life.
Yes.
And so, and then I had to understand that.
Yes.
And then from there, this was the man that taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me, took me skating. This was the same man that taught me took me down to the ballpark at age 15, taught me how to drive a car.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
This was my dad in everything that I knew. He just wasn't he wasn't the man that created me. I wasn't his seed.
Right.
So if we're going to talk about how to love ourselves, then it goes back down to the basic relationship of who first loved us.
Okay.
Who first
And-
loved us?
Yes.
And I'm gonna come from a 380 angle. I'm somebody whose daddy has always been in her life, right?
Mhm.
True.
Mhm.
So when you have this situation right here, I think that always having my father in my life
Mhm.
and my brothers right there, I
Mhm.
think that made me as strong as I am.
Mhm.
As far as dealing with men in relationships. But at the same token, I feel like it has hindered it in a
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
Just because, I don't feel like I should lower my expectations of what a man should do for me, because my dad always was, right there with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. It might
So you
sound
gotta-
But then why would you lower your expectations?
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And some people say, oh, you're just too hard to get along with. But no, what's wrong with having standards? Your personal standards. Some people say, oh, your standards are too high and too this and too that. No, I know what I like out of my mate. I know what I expect from the man I choose myself to be with. You know what I mean? This is what everybody's wants, desires, and needs are totally different.
True.
Right.
Period.
Mhm.
So what one person deems as a facade, the next person will think, oh, this works for me. This is right for me. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a two-way street when it comes to that. But I definitely understand the young lady who's not had a father there. It's just like the young male who's never had a mother there.
Oh,
or
yes.
a father.
Yes.
And
Or
I'm tell you, but,
yes.
but this is where when we get deep on that, we talk about young ladies. Now let's flip it over to the young men, because I've come across men whose dad was in their life and dads that were not in their life. And the sad thing about it is sometimes you have fathers who are there but still do not teach their boys how to be
Absolutely.
A man.
Absolutely.
Hey.
So then when
You
we
was
get
in the
these
house.
relationships
Yes.
with these men,
Yes.
such as this young lady, and we've all done encountered ourselves, I'm sure,
Yes.
at some point in time, not being treated the way that we feel that we should be treated by
Right.
what our standards are of a man. And we'll say, well, if you supposed to be a man. Okay, well, who taught him how to be a man?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just
Absolutely.
like
That's
a young
true.
lady that never had their dad in their life, or their dad was there but wasn't the man in their life. They were physically in the home but wasn't there to teach you how to be a young woman, that you know,
This is
don't
true.
you don't settle for this, and you are, like you said, beautiful. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all those kind of, give you all those attributes, and help you to be confident in who you are. It gets so deep because we want our expectations of what we want and who we are. We should have our standards, no doubt about that. But then we come to other people and we assume that they should be what we want them to be, and they're not. And even when their dad is in the home or their mom is in the home, it's just sometimes it's still a disconnect because their parents were broken and they were never taught anything. And you know what I mean? So it's like a generational curse sometimes, that it's a cycle. And then it's unfortunate because then you begin to be 30, 40, 50 years old trying to figure out who you are and what you want and what you don't want, what you're going to accept and what you won't accept. You know what I mean? And then we find ourselves in situations like this, being in long-term relationships, putting up with something that we know we don't want, but we're there because we're comfortable with it. We've done been there for years and years and years. They're roommates now. They're just comfortable. Can they get back to basics? Absolutely. If there's communication, if they're both willing to do it, but it's brokenness everywhere.
Right.
People have to find out who they are in themselves.
Right there, starting with yourself.
Yeah.
Chris made a comment. Some men have the wrong understanding of what it takes to be a man, and it kind of go back to what you were saying. And there are some men that need some help with it, but they don't want to humble themselves around another man that can help them with it. We got to humble ourselves.
We do.
Sometimes it's not our partner, it's us, whether it's the female or the man, the male.
I feel like in that setting, just like if I came to you guys, sometimes I can just sit in a room. It wouldn't take long for somebody to say something to me. The same with men. If you see somebody just sitting in the room, say something. Chances are he'll open up.
Right.
It doesn't take long for a woman to say something to a woman.
Right.
It just don't.
Right.
So, I think it's easier for a man to become more receptive of assistance if it's presented to him in a way that's not challenging. Like instead of
or
asking
degrading,
him, coming at him
or
like,
degrading.
Yeah,
I need you to do this, and I need you to do that.
right.
What you should be doing.
That's
How
our
you need to
expectations
be.
of what we think a man should be. Because
Right.
you see TV, you
Right, Leah, but I'm saying for a man in a setting like he said, sometimes people don't want to humble themselves.
Right.
It's not about being humble. I can sit in front of any one of you and not say nothing. It's not about me being humble. It's about me sitting there and you guys saying something to me. It doesn't take long for you guys to say something.
Right. But
You just have to do it. You just have to be there for one another.
yes.
It's we have to make sure that we are being there for one another. It's
On
so
both
many
ends.
different, oppositions against us, like in every aspect of life.
And when
you
you're in a
just have to be
relationship,
there.
you have to be willing to compromise.
Right.
Give up yourself sometimes.
Right.
Sacrifice you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's it.
But don't forget who you are.
Right.
But you got to know who you are.
Right. But that balance, Miranda, woo-wee.
That balance,
That balance.
we keep going back to that balance.
That balance is important.
It's very important.
But it's
And
so
you know
easy
what, dear?
not to have it.
Dear,
Yes.
Here, I think what's very important is people spending time with themselves
True.
and knowing who you are. What TJ
Well,
said.
that's first. You
But
can't
people
go-
don't know. People
But
don't
see,
spend
but-
time.
But and they don't, and I agree with you.
TJ,
People don't
it's
spend
so
no
many
time.
things when you wake up in the morning, right? Especially those that work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 8 to 4, right?
Right.
You get up in the morning, your alarm clock go out. You hit the snooze button till you can't hit it no more. You get up, you get dressed, you go to work. On the way to work, you listen to the radio. When you get off, while you're at work all day long, you're constantly stimulated.
That's true.
You get off from work, you listen to the radio, you go home. If you're a mom or if you're in a relationship, you're stimulated by the kids, your partner.
Mhm.
When do we have time to ourselves as women?
In the car.
That's a good point because you gotta take
That's
the time.
decompression time. That's decompress. So going back to what you said, Miranda. Going back to what you said.
In the car.
What I found about people, and this is just my own opinion. We can't start talking black about in the car because it's true. Everybody here know it's true. So if we go back to what yourself. Wait a minute, self. So if we go back to what Miranda was saying about people and knowing yourself and first, you know what I mean, and getting acquainted with you first, that comes back down to the basics. That takes it all the way back down to the basics. Because to be honest, to me, jumping out of one relationship and jumping into another relationship,
That's not healthy.
that ain't healthy. You don't really know what you want. You don't know who you like.
You
what you
still
don't
need to
like.
get over your ex.
You need to get over yourself.
Okay.
No, you need to get over
Get over
yourself.
yourself.
Because at that point, when you coming out of everything, it ain't my fault. They did this.
Yes.
When you have something to do with it too.
Yes.
Let's just be
Take
honest.
responsibility
Right.
for your role.
Right. And
You
then
can't love on somebody else while you still loving on your ex.
absorb it.
Should that, the song, how can we be lovers if we can't be friends? So should we be friends first?
Yes.
Friends first is great.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then friends means friends with no benefit.
No benefit.
None.
None.
No benefit.
None.
Wait, no. Ain't nobody. Ain't nobody.
Friends with no benefit. Yes, Henry. How about that 90-day rule? You know what Steve Harvey said?
She said, wait a minute. No benefit.
Okay.
No benefit.
I'm just saying, okay.
Realistically speaking,
Realistically speaking.
if we take the time to break that down into stats, there would be no majority. Like,
Yeah,
gonna
but
have-
you don't. But my thing is, dear, is that when you get into a relationship with a man, a woman can be friends with a man and not have a sexual relationship.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Every relationship that you have with a man does not have to be sexual.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
It can just be where y'all are genuine friends and you can love this person because he's a friend to me.
Right, but
You
wait a
know?
minute. We're talking about friends first in a relationship. That means the potential. Okay, the potential to get booty.
It's there. It's there.
For him to cross over. So I'm not talking about my friends because my friends know we not smashing cakes. We don't do that.
Okay.
But the potential booty, okay,
Because
knows that he has the potential to progress over to something more than just friends.
because you can take that back to the Bible. That's temptation of the flesh.
I'm just saying,
I'm just
Echo.
saying. It is what it is.
friends with benefits, and then potential to cross over. Friends first, and then potential to cross over.
But
It's
no
not the
benefits
same.
right away.
It's not the same as friends with benefits.
No benefits right away.
Well, you gotta, I guess,
booty.
set
There
up-
it is.
Potential booty is potential.
There it is.
Potential booty.
That's
That's
what
potential booty. That's it. That's
I ain't never
We're
heard
gonna walk
of
away from
it.
anything else tonight. Y'all got that? Potential booty is potential booty.
Not friends with benefits.
Let's ask Sierra what potential booty is.
Not friends with benefits.
Booty is
Please explain to our audience
exactly what potential booty
It's crossing over that threshold.
Oh,
the
right, okay.
possibility to
So
get
like
the
the
booty.
potential, yes, the potential booty is like somebody that you're so cool with, that y'all vibe so good that you like, man, potentially that could be some booty. No, man, I can see myself doing that right there.
Right, Sheila Ames. Potential booty. Like we're really trying to get the definition of this potential booty.
I can see
For
myself.
all of those who are wondering about this definition, Sierra is providing it.
I can see myself.
Potential booty.
I can see myself deciding that, okay, you know what, you're a good friend, but I can see us crossing over. Like, you know, I can see myself dealing with you like that. You potential booty.
But right now, I have you in the friend bucket.
But right now,
because potential means that you ain't got it yet. We ain't got to that point.
but
yet.
I'm thinking about
But
it.
it could happen.
Could.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
You know, because
you ain't got to necessarily be thinking about it. It just could happen because
No,
I have you in this
no.
process.
It's already a thought.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
There's potential there.
No.
Okay.
I can cross that threshold that you gon' get it. That's potential right there.
You are a
Yes.
Okay.
That's a different bag.
Let's take it back. Let's take it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
That was
But you know what, Dear? We know what we want when we want. it,
Exactly.
Right? We already made up our minds.
You being
We leave it at that.
Yeah.
We as women, we make up our minds before they do.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not here to sugarcoat. And obviously, I love this discussion because we're all from different genres of life.
Mhm.
Like, none of us are the same. We're all different age brackets, everything. So,
I'm still 20.
my verbiage is going to be totally different than the crew. It's just going to be that way. So, get ready. That's all I
It's
gotta
like
say.
she the baby.
Okay.
No,
So-
I'm just saying.
So the one thing that they will get out of this bunch right here is the truth and
True.
honesty. And
Yes.
we don't sugarcoat it.
Mm-hmm.
Transparent.
Transparency.
That's where it's at.
All right, where we at
So,
on this?
if we don't have any comments of suggestions, maybe let's recap what we kind of discussed a little bit.
Wow. I think we've went all the way there.
This was a good video. We covered a lot.
And we took it. We
It's
went
about an
all
hour.
in.
I really
All
hope
in.
that this lady chimes in, watches this video, and
I
at
do
least
too.
walks away with
A piece of
something.
something.
Yes.
Right.
Something that someone said clicked in her head. It meant something to her, or
Mhm.
it makes her look at her situation a different way, helps
Right.
her shine light on what she needs to do.
True. Yeah. True.
And I
Yes.
would just say that if you've already done those things, you know that you tried to do your date night, you know that you tried to communicate, you've tried every aspect that you thought that you could do to try to get this person to open up and communicate and try to make things better. The next step for you to do is just to self-reflect yourself, and
Yes.
maybe you need to move forward and move on onto something else, because sometimes we think we're losing something, but sometimes you have to walk away from what you have in order to get to where you really need to be.
And gain something better.
Yeah. I really agree with
TJ.
that.
A little recap. We said
I'm
communication.
still stuck on the potential booty thing.
Okay, let's bring it back.
Wait a minute, we're gonna have to talk about that later.
We'll talk about this
Yeah,
later.
That's going. We're
We'll
gonna
talk
talk
about
about
this later. But a little recap. The one thing we mentioned, which is very important in any relationship, like you said, is communication.
True.
Communicating with your partner, being patient with your partner, but finding that balance or that line
True.
of how much patience are you going to allow yourself and your partner.
True.
I would
Spicing
say-
it up in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Go to the toy store.
Ooh.
Do what you need to do.
Lingerie.
I got
Lingerie.
one little caveat though.
Okay.
Make sure that financially
Yes.
everything is okay, because
Mhm.
I know that men can change
Yes.
Yes.
physically
This is true.
if the finances ain't cool.
Yes. It makes them
It'll
feel less
tax
of a
their
man
ego.
if they're not at a certain
Their
place.
ego.
For some reason at all, if there's been any type of changes in your finances,
Yes.
and he's not able to convey that to you, be lenient, because it's not easier.
Because they may not always
For them.
express it.
She said.
It makes them feel less
said,
of a man
Malika,
sometimes.
And that's all I have to say about
Sheila said, I agree. Sometimes it's so hard to know if walking away is right until you get away and see it from a distance and feeling so uplifted.
Now that's
So
true.
Look back at it.
That's a very good point. Who
That
said
is a very
that?
good point. Who said
that?
Sheila Ames.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
true.
a very good
Right.
point.
Erica said she loves y'all's energy and vulnerability. Yeah, it is what it is.
Thanks,
Like,
E. That's what we all about.
Okay.
we're here to tackle topics that women don't want to talk about.
But we're here to talk about it. Hey! And this is our first video, so let us know what you think. Please, if you enjoyed the video, share on your social media. Please log on to YouTube, Miranda Heart to Heart, and TJ's Facebook page.
Love you more.
Love you more. Love yourself.
Yes.
Love you first.
So, like everyone falls in love sometimes.
Come on, sing it.
Every wind, go ahead. Someone must fail. There comes a point.
Come on, Lika. I just want to be Angela Bassett to blow up. That's all I want to do. Bye, y'all.
Have a good night.
I thought we was all getting ready to sing in harmony.
Shoot.